Competition is stiff nowadays. It's very difficult to sell things. We cannot just push items to people anymore. And we all know that we are supposed to come up with some unique selling proposition or unique selling point for our products. What exactly are the types of unique propositions that you can come up with? It seems intangible propositions are the best.
Ready to level up your content marketing strategies? This is Level Up Content Play with Rio Liao.
Hi, I'm Rio and welcome to the show where I help you make sense of what digital and content marketing is all about. How do we get our products or services to stand out among the competition? Well, the simple and short answer obviously is to be the best of the best. In my class where I teach the students, I often ask them, how many of you do you think can be the top of the class? The answer obviously is only one. But even when you are the top of the class, are you top of the school? How about competing with all the other students from other schools? How about the entire world? So it is very, very difficult for us to be number one. Or is it? Because the definition of number one can be changed or can be varied in a different way. So how do we become number one in a particular area that we can survive and so-called be the top dog in that particular industry or that particular segment that we are targeting at? The first way is obviously to use price as a differentiator. You could be the number one in terms of being the cheapest. So you can undercut your competitor and offer at a cheaper price. But this may not be a very sustainable solution because there are some retail stores, if you know, that offer sale all the time, right? Every other quarter is a sale, is a new sale. There are two consequences that arises from this situation. The first is nobody will ever buy from you at the regular price anymore because they know that the sale will always come around the corner again, right? The second consequence would be that when you have sale all the time or when you offer your services cheaply all the time, people will think that your products or services are not of very high quality or maybe even of a lower quality. The second way for you to be number one is to change the market by finding a underserved or unserved market niche that you can approach. This could be a different geographic location, for example, say going to a third world country or a developing nation where they are just beginning to have the need for your products. So by moving in first, you will have first mover advantage and you can then be the number one there. It can also be a market that is overlooked by the competitor or by the bigger boys, right? Maybe because of the difficulty or the extra work that is necessary to reach these markets. So you can then be the number one if you take the extra step to go into these markets. The approach relies on this imperfect distribution of information. It means that the niche markets are not able to find out about the other services available by the competitors. It may sound a bit impossible nowadays with the internet, but the truth is this is where SEO comes in because the company that does your SEO better will be able to be found by the market niche easier and better. So it doesn't mean that the search results that are returned will always be the number one in terms of quality and in terms of price. It simply means that they have done their SEO better. So if you are going to use this method, it is very important that your services and products are being found by the market niche. The third and most important method, obviously, is to change your definition of best product. Change the definition of the number one. What are you number one at? The physical product is actually the easiest to be copied. If you change your product by adding a new dimension to it or adding a new feature to it, it is very easy and very quick for your competitors to also copy and start offering the same thing. So it is very competitive and very difficult for you to maintain a unique selling proposition if your differentiation is simply a physical attribute. However, if you start thinking of an intangible or psychological benefit, then it becomes very difficult to be copied. Because what you are saying is you have a unique way of making your customer feel in a certain way. And this feeling will become that unique proposition that your competitors cannot replicate, because only you are able to provide that particular feeling. And that is why it is very important for you to come up with a unique selling proposition that is intangible and not a physical proposition. Professor Theodore Levitt first said that people don't buy quarter-inch drills, but they buy quarter-inch holes. I will go further to say that it is not just buying the quarter-inch hole, but what the quarter-inch hole does for you. The benefits, right? There's intrinsic benefits and extrinsic benefits. If you are selling facial cleanser and if you are just looking at the physical product, you will say that my facial cleanser has ginseng or aloe vera or whatever ingredients that make it special. And the very next day, you will realize that your competitor can also come up with similar products with ginseng or aloe vera, because physical differentiation can be easily copied nowadays. But if we look in terms of benefits, I can sell my facial cleanser and say that my cleanser can remove makeup better, for example. However, your competitor can also make that claim and say that their facial cleanser can remove makeup faster. So how can we move one step further even? And that is, if we were to go and say that maybe our facial cleanser make your face glow radiant, that would be a benefit that is a little bit harder for the competitor to even replicate. And we know that there's one brand that does this really, really well, and that is Dove. And when Dove does it, they go even further by creating a brand value. They come out with a slogan to say that they believe in real beauty. Right? So this is a slogan, or this is a promise that they have come up with that is very, very difficult for their competitors to copy or to emulate, because they have already owned that particular space, saying that their line of products are such that they believe in the real beauty, and the products will bring out the real beauty of the customers that uses it. So in order for you to really reach out and touch the customer, it has to be an emotional level. It has to be an emotional feeling that becomes a unique selling proposition that competitors will not be able to replicate and will not be able to compete with you on that level. So therefore, it is very important that when you come up with benefits, or when you come up with selling propositions that is unique, you have to come up with an intangible or a psychological benefit.
The key takeaways.
First of all, search optimization is crucial for success. Whether you are the best quality or the best price, it will be useless if nobody can find you. And this is true, be it digital or in the physical space. You need to make sure that your brand and the value is optimized for search. Second, when differentiating with your competitors, it is important to use intangible value. The intangible value is harder to quantify and therefore harder to replicate. And it is stronger also in terms of emotional appeal. And finally, stories are what it takes to convey emotions in the best possible way. So make sure you are able to tell a compelling brand story so that your customers will be touched and will be emotionally connected with your brand, and thereby making it all the more difficult for your competitor to copy you. When you have a brand purpose to serve your customers, it will be a natural extension to scope and to describe the intangible benefits that you can bring to your customers. So if you like what you have been seeing so far, remember to subscribe and to turn on your notifications so that you will know when is the next episode available. See ya!